So good morning, everyone. First of all, Ramadan Mubarak to all of you. I hope this holy month is being very blessed, all of you. So, and welcome to our seventh session of Book Clubs Across Borders. As you all know that COVID-19 cases are surging again in Pakistan. That's why our students from Islamabad, they won't be connecting with us live. But we do have some videos from our students in Pakistan reviewing the book that which we are going to be discussing today, which is The Kite Runner by Khalid Hussaini. So without further ado, I would like anyone from your side to come up and talk about the book, maybe give a summary of the book, and also present your ideas, your thoughts on the book. So, well, over to you.
Okay. In the name of Almighty Allah, this is Tubalangar. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I want to speak about the Kite Runner book. Astounding book, a novel from Khalid Hussaini, an Afghan-American author. And I want to speak about the general idea of the book. The general idea of the book show the lots of differences between Afghanistan society, between the people of Afghanistan society, between the religion, between the even economic situation. The book, the main character of the book was a Sunni guy who was lived in Kabul, a boy by the name of Amir. He was born in Kabul, and his mother was died while he was born. The book is a moving story about Amir and Hassan, two best friends who live together, but they have lots of differences in their life. I mean that they're friends, but their lifestyle is really different. Amir is a rich guy who lives in a rich family, but Hassan is a poor guy who was lived in a poor family. He was work in the Amir's house. Also, I want to mention that a story tells us about their friendship that was damaged by some differences between their religion and maybe economic situation. Hassan was victim by a sexual assault, and he was staying in Afghanistan. But the Amir's dream was being an author. From his childhood, he dreamed to be an author and being a writer. After 18 years old, after that, even that someone's do sexual assault on Hassan, one of the best friend of Amir. Amir was left Afghanistan with his father because he lost his mother, and he was left Afghanistan and went to California, United States of America. After that, when some years passed, and when he realized that maybe he do something wrong, maybe he was one of the guilty people about the story of Hassan. He want to coming back to Afghanistan and want to apologize from the Hassan. But while he coming Afghanistan, unfortunately, he knows that Hassan was died, but his son are alive, and Hassan was have a son. After that, he just want to apologize from the Hassan son, and the book made me really sad. It gave me a sad feeling, because here's Afghanistan. All human are equal, but why we have lots of differences in our life? Why we have lots of differences even in economic situation? And I think that was the general idea of the book. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing a very concrete summary of the book. Anyone else from your side who would like to add on to this? Then we can go into, asking you questions, and then we can share with some videos from our friends in Pakistan. And there are so many themes And there are so many underlying themes in this book that we would love to go deep into it.
Hi, my name is Said Faiz, and my last name is Hashimi. And today I want to talk about the plot and main idea of the book called Kite Runner. This gripping book called Kite Runner was from Afghan author called Khaled Hosseini, and about the Afghan boy named Amir. So Amir's life was traveling from Afghanistan to other countries like United States, and he was only keeping in touch with father and one of his best friends. It means Hassan, and Amir faced with many problems after helping his friend, and during their life they also struggled with lots of differences and with difficulties. For example, his friend was so poor, his father also was so poor, and they hadn't mother. And now I want to tell you about some main um, some accidents in their life. So Hassan and Ali was Hassan and Ali were motherless, and Amir was son of a famous merchant in their spot, and trying to please father for playing with his best friend uh, Hassan. And Ali and Hassan was spending all the time together under the tree of pomegranate, playing with each other their favorite hobbies. And some hands were trying to deceive their relationship and friendship. And there was a time that uh, Hassan faced with a problem, and his friend Ali also helped us. And after that accident, Hassan left Afghanistan to California with his father. And then his friend thought that my friend is lost. And after searching and searching a lot, I think that they lose touch with their best friend. And that was the main idea of the book named Python.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Anyone else from your side who would like to come up and talk about the book?
First of all, hello everyone, and good morning. It's a pleasure joining you today with the book, the best-selling book of Khaled Hosseini, means Kite Runner. Actually, as it was mentioned a lot of time that it is a best-selling book, and it is a story of hundreds of people that are immigrant and also are suffering from a lot of challenges. So I'm going to talk about the lesson that I had learned from this astonishing book, the point that they're precious and also came to my mind and crossed my mind, and it got my attention. The first thing that I learned from this book is that sometimes very small actions that we don't consider them very important can make a long-lasting effect in our life and influence. So every small action, every small action that we take can have a big reaction. So we should be very careful about taking actions, because small actions can make a big difference in someone's life, and we should be careful about it. Moreover, we should accept it that sometimes life is unfair, as very small accidents can change your life completely in one day or in 1 month. Maybe from the very high degree you come to the last degree, maybe sometimes from the last degree come you to the first degree. So that is life, and sometimes it is unfair. So we should be prepared for the life challenges and life situation. Just like that's my favorite quote, say that there are decades that nothing happens, but there are the days when decades happen. So that is it. Maybe in some days you receive the big achievement that you were waiting for that for 10 years, but sometimes you may lose that. So we should be prepared for all the challenges that life are going to have. Moreover, the thing that I did learn from this book is that trust is something really precious, and we cannot buy it. Once it is broken, so it's broken. We cannot rebuild it again. So we should be very, very careful with our relationship with others, with our friends, with our family members, because it is something really precious, really rare in someone's life, and it can have a lot long-lasting effects, maybe positive or maybe negative in our life. In addition, I want to add that this book it's not about the quotations and about some great point that make the audience and make the reader interested. It's about the history and the situation and the diversity that Afghanistan had in the past times, maybe in the economic part, maybe in the political part, in the social life. So the thing that I did learn was that a life with a lot of diversity, with a lot of challenge, with a lot of differences are hard to handle, but it is interesting to handle if we can handle it. For example, when Amir traveled to US, he faced with a new country, with new different people, with different background from different religions. So he could get a better perspective toward the world. Moreover, he saw that just it's not about immigration, that we make an immigration and we are lacking. No, life everywhere has some challenges and we should handle them and we should combat with every problem that it's facing. Overall, I can say that it was a great book that make the reader interested to the reading. Moreover, it gives you very precious lesson. It has lots of beautiful quotes, and it can make a better perspective toward the life and toward the world. That never give up, and the life is beautiful with all the diversity that it has, with a lot of challenges that it has. So just keep going and try to enjoy your life and be friends with the ones that are precious to you. Thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you so much for sharing your amazing thoughts. I'm so glad that you enjoyed this book. And I totally understand and I totally relate where you are coming from. When I read that book, I read it a couple of months ago, and I think this book is still etched in my mind. Because I think the way Khalid Hosseini writes, he writes so beautifully. His writing is so poetic that even when he is describing, the Rocky Mountains of Kabul, he is portraying them so beautifully that even though I've never visited Kabul, I've never been to Afghanistan, but I could imagine it in my mind. And there was this scene, I think, right at the beginning of the book when Amir's father, he takes him to a picnic at a lakeside. And I think that scene is so etched in my mind that I can still, when I'm telling you guys about this, I can still, remember that scene very clearly. So I think that's the power of good books. That's the power of good writing, that it can make you feel even when the writer is describing some dish, some food, you can even smell it, even though you are reading it. And they are making you understand the emotions of the characters, and you can relate to them, even though you have never been in those circumstances, but you can still relate to them. So on that note, anyone else from your side who would like to come up and add on to this conversation? I think now we can go in discussing the themes of the book. So anyone from your side who would like to, talk about the themes of the book, that what themes the book was trying to tell us.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
This is Armila. My friends speak about the book, about the whole story, about the plot. I just want to add something more about the book. The unforgettable, heartbreaking story of two friends. This story is between a wealthy boy and a poor man boy. Khalid Hosseini didn't write a non-fictional story. He wrote a non-fictional story. This book is the real story of our country. Yes, this sexual harassment, this misusing, this actions happen every day in our country. And after reading this book, I really feel sad. It affects me so much. And still it's going on in my mind that how this is the story of a father who didn't give attention to his son because he was all the time busy with his work. This is the story of a small boy who is introvert because there was no friend to play with him. Then he find a boy friend from other religion, from the Hazara religion. Like the times they spend, the beautiful moments, the kite running contest. and the harassment happened with Hassan. And this is the story of Amir who couldn't protect his friend. And this is the story of a guilt that Amir, the feeling of guilty, like every day Amir is thinking how to say sorry or how to say that he was the victim of that incident, but he couldn't. So that's why he left Hassan. He just broke their friendship. This is the story of a father who tried to protect his son. He take his son to Pakistan, then California. And this is the story of that Amir who couldn't protect his friend, but then he feel his guilt and he decided to come back to Afghanistan and save a child like Hassan. And he again meet Asif. Yeah, after I have never read this book before, but I have this book, but I didn't read. But this week I read it, and it affects me so much. I really feel sad, and even I feel shame. If you have any question.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And I'm so glad that you brought up all these topics which usually people shy away from. Going deep into the themes of the book, that the story is about friendship and then betrayal, and the betrayal that happened because of that scene that happened to Hassan and Asif. You know, he shied away from it, and that whole scene, it was so scarring, and it was so, even to the readers, and we all know that this happens in Afghanistan and also in Pakistan every day. There are so many children who are victims of child abuse or victim of sexual harassment, and there are so many women and men out there who face this issue, this social evil every day. And I think the more we talk about it, the more people understand, and the more we shy away from it, the more this problem will occur. Sometimes when I talk about this issue with people, they are like that the more we talk about it, the more it will happen. And I think that is so wrong to say, because I think such problems can only be rooted out when people are educated about them. Even when sometimes someone is being harassed, they are not even realizing that they are being harassed. So unless and until we talk about these things, we read about these things, we understand that this is wrong and this is not something which should happen. And I think the character of Asif, it displays violence. That even though when he was a child, he was a young boy, Asif, and he wanted to take control, he wanted to show his power, and he was in his teenage, and he was older, he was a few years older than Amir and Hassan. And there wasn't just violence of someone who is in power, who is bigger than you, and he is imposing power onto another person. There was another violence, sectarian violence, that Hassan, he is from the Hazara community, and Asif and Amir, they are from the Sunni community. And this kind of violence, this kind of sectarian violence is such prevalent in both of our countries. And I think this can only be shut down, or this can only be, brought down to a minimum when we talk about these things, when we acknowledge these things, and when we make ourselves understand and make ourselves educate that we all are humans, we all are equal. Our religion teaches us, before, when Islam was brought into the world, when we were taught, when Islam was taught earlier, there was no sect, there were no sects, there was no sectarian violence. And even though there were different factions, they were still, Allah Almighty made us understand that no, we are all equal, no matter what happens. So I think all of these things can only be brought to a minimum. We cannot say that they will be ended. I hope and pray that it happens at some point in our lives, at some point in the world. But I think they can be brought down to an extent where people are brave enough to call out these actions. When people are, they have this courage that if someone is a victim of such violence, that people understand that people believe them and they know that where they're coming from and they are standing with them instead of being against them and instead of making them a reason for such violence. So thank you so much for bringing up this topic. And I know sometimes these conversations, they're very uncomfortable and people don't understand how to go about these topics. But I think the more we talk about it, the more we make this conversation easier, the more we'll realize that, oh, this is something which should be tackled with. And this is the only way, by having a healthy conversation on it, that it can be tackled with. So thank you so much for bringing in your thoughts. Anyone else from your side who would like to add on to this conversation or who would like to talk about more themes that were discussed in this book?
Hello, I hope you're doing well. This is Kausar Touch. And now I want to talk about the one major point that it was very fantastic for me or interest. That is the main point was lie. The mention is that we have one guilt and that's lie. If you say it's the thief. If you make guilt, you it's a kind of guilt, and also when you kill someone, you thief alive. You thief alive, and also you give the husband, the wife, and the children for having like their fathers, and also if you say the lie for someone, you give the right of knowing about their rights. It's the main point. It means you must be honest. You must be honest, and you should do everything that you know that's right. And the main point is you ignore the lying. And the main major point of this book was that when Amir don't say the right, when some guilt happens and on Hassan, and Amir ignore that and don't say what happened. It was one lie that they make change the life of Hassan and also the life of Amir. And it was the main point that they become four, and Hassan go from their house, and Amir, and some situation happened, and Taliban regime comes, and they fall from the Afghanistan and go to the America. And I think the Amir had some feel of passion, some feel of guilt that he want to make their mistake, and he come back to the Afghanistan and want to find the Hassan. The main point was that don't say the lie and don't ignore the mistake. You accept your mistake and should do the true things. It was the ultimate. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I totally agree with you that the main theme of this book was that one lie and that one moment of betrayal, and that betrayal which was so heavy, and it made Amir guilty throughout his life. That one incident happened and Amir didn't report it to his father, and he even shunned Hassan away from it. Even though that whole scene that was happening, Hassan was going after the kite to bring it for Amir. And when Amir brought that trophy home, his father was so proud of him. And at that moment, I was thinking that, oh, Amir should tell his father what actually happened. And if at that moment, Amir had told the truth, their lives would have been so much different. Hassan would not have left their house, and if they had moved to America, they all would have moved to America. And Hassan wouldn't have been a victim of violence throughout his life. That he faced violence on the hands of Asif not once but twice, that his son was also facing violence at the hands of Asif. When he grew older and he joined the Taliban, he was keeping Sohrab in his custody. And that whole thing, that one lie, it destroyed so many lives. It didn't only destroy Hassan and his son's life, it also destroyed Amir's life in a way that he had this heavy guilt over his shoulders throughout his life. That even though when he was achieving something, he wasn't feeling truly happy, because he knew that I destroyed one life and that life would have brought so many lives with itself. And even though, despite of all of this that Amir did to Hassan, Hassan was still loyal to him. That even though they left their house after many years, he came back to their house with his wife and his son, and he lived there and he kept that house clean, keeping that in mind that one day Amir and his father will return. And they were again shot down there just because for being from a community that Taliban didn't approve of. So I think all of these things, even though this book was so sad and it also made me feel, made me get teary-eyed at every other incident that was happening in the book, I still think that it also ended on a very hopeful note. That when Amir, even though there was this another very interesting thing that I found in this book, that Amir was he was not a very brave person throughout the book. Even when he was a child, he was putting Hassan in for his defense. Whenever he was being bullied by someone older than him, Hassan was defending him. Even though when Asif gets, when Hassan, sorry, when Asif bullies Amir for the first time for playing with a boy from the Hazara community, even when Amir should have defended him, Hassan comes up in front of him and he had this sling in his hand and he was like that, I will shoot you and you should run away from here. And Asif keeps that thought in his head and he was like that, I will take my revenge. And the kind of revenge that he took, it shook the lives of so many people that Hassan had to move away. His father took him away and he took him back to his village. And when Amir finally he found out from his uncle that Hassan was actually his half brother, that also shook him. And that, I think that was the moment when Amir he found the courage to go back to his country and, take redemption and get over his guilt by saving the son of Hassan. So I think this book, even though it's very sad and it makes you feel, understand so many harsh realities of our lives, of our society, and the kind of turmoil that your country went through. And in some parts, it's still going through. It still ends at a very hopeful note. And you will also, the question that I'm going to ask you guys is that the title of this book is The Kite Runner. And the kite flying festival, it's very significant in that book. That's how the children and people are celebrating their lives in Afghanistan before the Soviet regime took over them and before any turmoil was happening in the country. So my question is from all of you guys is this, that what does the kite and the culture of kite flying symbolizes? What does it mean? The kite runner and, the flying kites.
It's a festival in Afghanistan. It's a festival that in the summer season, people they want to feel fresh and have some parties that get for friends and their life or their moment happily. And also it's a tradition in Afghanistan that people they have kite and they do kite running like this. But actually, I don't know why the writer choose this. But the main point is that it's a tradition in Afghanistan, and people want to have a party and make people together and spend their life happy.
Thank you so much for adding that. Anyone else who has some different answer to this?
Hello again. Actually, I think, in my point of view, and the title that the writer chose for the book is really great. That it's Kite Runner. In my point of view, our life is like a kite, and we are the kite runner of our life, of our own life. So it is in our hand, the steer or the controller in our hand. That's how we organize it, how we lead it, how we manage it, and it is all upon us. If we manage it well, if we control it well, if we know how to play it well, so we will have the high dreams, and we will be successful, and we will be the kite runner who is the winner. But if we don't manage it well, if we don't control it well or handle it well, if you don't handle with the very, very hard winds and also the hard challenges, so what will happen? Maybe it will fall down. So the life will fall down. And the more concept of the most beautiful concept of kite running is that the kite is like a sign of freedom, or like it's when it's flying in the air, so it gives us the fresh feeling of freedom, means that we are free, and the humans are free, and they can fly. Like when we say that if you try, you can fly, so that it is. If we try, and if we attempt, if we have the supporters, if we support each other, so we can do that with each other. And I think that it's a beautiful tradition and beautiful custom of Afghan people. Moreover, many other countries, that they have the joint culture, and it shows that all people need some entertainment, needs something to refresh them, and it can be a good idea that we play the kite and we fly them. And I think that it's a good tradition, and it's a good name for the book also, because the kite running was the accident that could change the Hassan and Amir's life. And we can take that kite running can be a good and beautiful thing if we think about it deeply, and if we get the concepts very well. Thank you very much.
Thank
If you
you
have
so
any
much.
questions, further information.
Thank you so much for giving your such enlightened answer. I was only thinking about the concept of freedom, but the way you connected the tradition of kite flying and how flying a kite and having that string in your hand, it symbolizes your life. That how you are controlling your life, how you are handling your life. If you are handling it very carefully, and you are seeing that who is your competitor and who is your enemy and who is your friend, then you will be able to fly your kite properly. And if you let it go, and if you don't see that who is your real companion, who you can trust, then your kite will be cut down, and it will fall down somewhere that you will feel so lost. And I think that was the whole concept throughout the book. So thank you so much for such an enlightening answer. I'm so glad, and I feel so enthralled by listening to your thoughts. So moving on, anyone else who would like to add into this conversation?
Hello, very good. Thank you. Happy Ramadan. And I said something in this book. Mentally Kite Runner, and Kite Runner. You said about what does mean Kite Runner. In my opinion, Kite Runner, when I think is a kite is kite, it could be expressed, not have any doubt to say what does it mean. Kite runner. When the kite fly to a sky, it couldn't be all time in the sky. They come out to the earth, and if you want to match them to our life, when those person commit mistakes and seeing an accident that happened in front of them, that the conscious of this person that couldn't control of them, if those person be clean and have a kind of human, having a humanity, and do not have any kind of them control ourselves that can be relaxed. For example, inside of the Hassan, that happened an accident that the Amir was being Amir was being the witness of this accident, and those person that they come to the California with this father, and the conscience of this person do not have any feel relaxed, and after a lot of after a long term that come out to Afghanistan, and they it news that Amir, the Hassan was died, but the son of them that alive, and he like of this come from right now being in front of the Taliban, and he wanna getting from the Taliban. And if you want to imagine and criticize this book right now, person that who mistakes and commit the mistakes, and the conscience of this person that not be relaxed and come out from every place that being, and they wanna they wanna something out that do those things that he do. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. So I have another question from you guys, that the relationship of Hassan and Amir, it was affected by many many issues in our society. It was also being Hassan and Amir's friendship was being bullied just because of the fact that Hassan is from Hazara community and Amir is from the Shia community, and that's why Asif started bullying him in the first place. So this kind of issue, ethnic violence and people being differentiated on the basis of their sect, it's so prevalent in both of our countries. So my question from you guys is that how can we bring this issue to a minimum? How can these things can be minimized in our society? And you can, it's not really that I'm not looking for a very big solution. I'm just asking that what we can do as an individual, what we can do as a person to bring these issues in our, even in our close circles, to a minimum. Can you please speak a little bit loudly?
Yeah. First of all, I want to congratulate and I hope a good Ramadan month for all of our Pakistani friends. After that, I want to add for your question that as far as we know, all of us are Muslims, and all we have the same sect, the same religion. So we should observe and we should obey the commands of sanctioned by Allah, that and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has told for us in Sahih al-Sittah. If according Quran Kareem, the commands of Allah Ta'ala, we can see, and so we are supposed to obey the commands of Quran Kareem, that Allah Ta'ala has said that Inna akramakum inda Allahi atqakum. All of you has, all of the humanity has the same position, but just their faith or their faith are very important. So according to Quran Kareem, we can remove all of these problems and issues in our community. So as far as we know, in Afghanistan, we have too many sects and too many tribes like Uzbek, Pashtun, Hazara, and Tajik, or Arab, or Aimaq, any other sects and tribes. So if we see and if we have an eye or have a look on Quran Karim's comments, we can remove we can extinct all of these issues and problems from our community. One other comments of Quran Karim that we should observe and obey is that وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. So all of us should be united, and all of us think about ourselves, and all of us should be as a brother. Like and one of other verses of Quran Karim is that إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. All of the Muslims are brothers together. So according to the Quran Karim's comments and verses, the sects and the races are not issues, and we shouldn't think about the sects, and we shouldn't think about our scans. All these are bullshits according to the Quran Karim, because all of us are Muslims.
Thank you so much for your answers, and I totally agree with you. But even though we all are Muslims and we all follow Islam and we all have read the Quran, still these issues are very prevalent. Still such violence still occurs. Why do you think it's still happening?
First of all, I want to add that Afghanistan's situation is very hard. According those issues that Afghanistan and Afghanistan's people have passed too many decades of conflicts and war behind. So in order to these situations and these conflicts, your evidence of too many problems with studying and high education systems, schools, serious systems. So first of all, we should add too many new series in our higher education and in our school educations. First of all, I want to thank the organizers of this program, book club program, because it is based on intensifying the skills of book reading, because this book reading skills is too fruitful, and it is too good for making a better situation for building a good controversial skills and for youth and for young generation in schools and in universities. So in my own point of view, or in my own point of opinion, the most good and the most utilized problem solver is that we should have the styles, and we should have the skills of book reading, and every day and every month we should have read too many books, and we should come up with new ideas and new informations about our religions, because in our own religions it is very clear that what should we do. So the main idea and the main good problem and issue solver of this issue is that we should build our capacity, and it is book reading, I think. So, and this program is very fruitful and utilized for solving this problem.
Thank you so much for saying that. And I'm so glad that you are benefiting from this project and you are reading books and you are having such healthy conversations. And adding on to your answer, and I think such issues and such problems can be brought to such level, can be brought to a minimum by tolerating each other, by understanding each other. We know that we are now divided into sects. There are two main sects in the Muslim community, which is one is the Shia community and one is the Sunni community. And so much violence occurs when one community is in majority and one community is in minority. So I think such violence can be brought to a minimum when we understand and when we realize that we all are equal, we all are humans, we all are Muslims. Like you said, that it's also emphasized so much upon in our Holy Quran, in our religion. And I think by having such conversations, by understanding each other, by making such a tolerant and inclusive environment where all of us can get together, read the same book, and talk about such things, such harsh realities of our lives, of our society, of our world. And even if anyone has a difference in opinion, we can still understand that, oh, they're coming from a different place and they have different experiences. That's why they have a different opinion. And instead of, using getting physical about these things, using violence, physical violence, I think we can always talk to each other in a way that other person understands. That we are different in a way, that I am a Pakistani woman. I live in a very urban city in Pakistan, and the experiences I go through will be very different from the experiences that you go through. But still, we are talking about things which are common in our society, social evils which are common in our society, and we are having such a fruitful and such a healthy conversation. So I think having such dialogues, it's not so much difficult. Sometimes we are shunned, we are asked to not talk about these things, or a conflict will happen. And sometimes we shy away from having a conflict just because we know that the other person will not understand us, or there might become a problem in our community, or someone will not be our friend anymore. So I think we all are afraid of having a conflict because we have been living in so many conflicts for such a long time. And these conflicts were occurring due to violence, due to physical violence. So, but never a dialogue was happened. Never someone from two different communities were brought to sit together and asked that why is this happening? What do you want? And when such conversations start happening, everyone will realize that we all want the same thing. We all want peace. We all want a roof on our heads. We all want education. We all want our society, our community, our country to develop. And this is all that we want. This is all what humans want. So thank you so much for giving such a good answer. Anyone else from your side who would like to add on to this conversation?
Thank you for your answer.
First of all, assalamu alaikum to all. Hope you are doing well and Ramadan is passing well. According to my idea, as my colleague Waliullah said, that the only way to decrease this problem is reading books. And in my point of view, the thing that we youth who are in the very low level of the governmental sectors, the thing we can do is just holding programs which are intercultural, and we can gather there people from different backgrounds, people from different perspectives, from different ethnic groups. And the time we gather them, that time we can work on their understanding, and we can develop their understanding. So the best example is this project. It's not only about reading the books. If you see in these people who are in Mazar here, we have people from different backgrounds, from different perspectives, and also from different ethnics. There might be Pashtun, there might be uh, who are from Tajik, who are Uzbek, who are Hazara. Everyone are here. They are here working together and working on the same project, studying the same book, and sharing their own experiences related to the book, sharing their own experiences related to the problem, and solving, overcoming on this problem. So the best way for us to work on this problem is firstly start from our own self, and starting from our own community with conducting such a programs and working together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for appreciating the project, and thank you so much for telling the answer that what we can do on a personal level to bring this problem to a minimum. So I know we have only like 9 minutes left. I'm going to share my screen now and show you some videos from our friends in Pakistan who also read the Kite Runner, and they are giving their thoughts on the book. So let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Hey everyone, this is Anam.
Can you guys see my screen and also hear the video?
Hey everyone, this is Anam from Karachi. So talking about the book review of The Kite Runner, I think the book is amazing and I love to read the book again. There are a lot of different aspects that the book covers, but the most important ones are loyalty, friendship, brotherhood, regret, sorrow, and the most beautiful part was the spirituality, and I really love that. There are like a lot of different quotes that are mentioned in the book, but I would love to mention two of them which are like so close to my heart. There is a way to be good again. I think this quote is so optimist. This is so hopeful, empowering quote for me, because I'm a firm believer that there is the darkness cannot like stay forever, and there is always a light after dark. So this is like the most beautiful thing that I found in the book. The other one is the boy who won't stand for himself becomes a man who cannot stand for anything, and it carries a bit of philosophical way to confess that a person who cannot talk about or express his or her feeling becomes a person who cannot express anyone else, and that person cannot talk about others and the right that others deserves. So I do agree with that, and I do believe that while talking about your rights, you should be you shouldn't be like very soft or polite. You should be in a way that you feel, so other can understand that how do you feel, and this is like important to you, and this should be resolved. The most beautiful transformation was Amir's character, and that reminds me of an ayat from Quran Pak, which is وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى, and that says, and he found you lost and guided you. And initially his character was like lost, and then he found a way that there is God, there is someone who is like running this all system out, and that was so beautiful, and that hit me so hard. I would last words are for my fellows from Afghanistan, and that I would love to hear from them what they think about the book, and I would love to hear from that about their culture, about how they live, and how their society is. It would be so amazing to know about that. Thank you so much, everyone, and Allah Hafiz.
Hello everyone, I'm Rafia from Karachi. So the part I love from the Kite Runner is when Amir realizes that he hasn't prayed for 15 years and the last time he prayed was his father's funeral. So I think that was a really heart-wrenching moment, and at that point, like we all really loved that part basically. It brought me into tears, and it really gave me the goosebumps as well. While I was reading it, I realized that like all of us at some point realizes that we have regrets and all. So I got up after reading that part and I prayed. And basically why I'm sharing this with you is the reason that I want to share that I want to basically admire Khalid Hosseini for his writing, because it touched readers' heart and it gave a very 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 strong message. And the way he put everything together in the book, especially the ending, it was not really a happy ending, but it had hope. And I think the best thing a reader can, an author can do is he can end the book on a very happy note, or he can basically end the book on hope. So Khalid Hosseini ended the book on hope, and that was the best thing he has done in the book. Also, I really loved the example that Khalid Hosseini gave in the end, that a melting snowflake brings the news of spring. So that example was really perfect in Saurabh's case, and book was really connected to each and every part, and each and every part was really beautiful. One of my friend read the book before we read, and while I was reading it, I discussed it, and she said I felt really numb and I didn't talk to anyone for 2 days after reading the book. So I think the basic thing I really wanted to share by this thing is that author gave a really really strong message in the end, and all the readers felt really connected to the book. So yes, the book is really amazing, and I'm looking forward for the videos from Afghanistan. So looking forward to it.
So these were the videos from our friends in Karachi who read the book last month, and I am sure that whoever is reading this book through this project, they are feeling the same way. This book is it's heartwarming, it's heart-wrenching, and in the end, I would only want to say that the books that I find great, and I feel like everyone else who is an avid reader, they also find such books that first they shatter you, and then they collect your pieces, and then they bind and they build you up together in a different way. And after ending such a book, you become a whole new person. Some part of you becomes a whole new person. So I think that's the power of such brilliant books, such brilliant writing. And I'm so glad that we are reading these books together and we are talking about these books together. And you all are bringing in such amazing thoughts, and such books are changing the mindsets of all of us. And in a way, when it's not just like that only we are reading these books. Whenever someone reads a book, they always recommend it to someone who they'll think that they will also enjoy this book. So in a way, reading books is such a chain reaction, especially reading a good book, that you always end up recommending it to someone else, and it also changes them. So it's such a heartwarming experience. And the readers who are reading the same book, they are sharing same feelings, same emotions on a certain level. So I'm so glad and I'm so excited after talking to you guys. And this is all I have to say at the end. Anything else that you would like to add, Amit?
Thank you so much. Thanks for a good decision that we have. And there's no any speech for talking. And
All right. So that brings us to the end of our session today. Thank you so much, guys, for coming, and I hope that you had done brilliantly in your exam. And happy Ramadan to all of you again. Hope to see you guys next month with a new book. And I'm so looking forward to talking to you guys again. Khuda Hafiz, and see you all next time.